hear you.
All right, good.
We are live, gentlemen. So watch your language. Not that you guys are especially foul-mouthed. Oh, look, we got double branding here. Let me clean up my branding here. There we go.
Oh, nice.
This one doesn't have the Tessero logo. Rick, you had one job to do, Rick. One job to do. This is on it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, and there's a couple of channels. It goes on the CRPS Facebook group and the Rimfire Nation podcast page. So that one is public. That one's public, so no one has to subscribe to it. And then YouTube. So all of our podcasts are uploaded to all the typical aggregators or services like Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple, Stitcher, and I think I have to add it to Podbean. I didn't get it to Podbean yet.
Okay.
So I will do that shortly. So how do I do that? Directories. Do. Podbean. Oh, it's not on the list of the. Yeah, it's not listed on here, so I have to do it manually. So that's why it's not on Podbean, because I have to do that manually, and I'm completely not technical. I'm sure they don't make it that hard, though, right?
Well, I'm surprised I was able to sign into this because, I'm like a technical black hole. Anytime you throw technology at me, it disappears, never to be seen again. So, yeah. We're having these weekly Zoom meetings for our new accounting software, and I generally ruin the show for everybody.
Don't worry.
Somebody has to be that guy.
That's right. It's a tough job, you know.
I know. It's a good thing that there's qualified people for it, though.
Yep, I'm more than qualified.
Hey, John, where did you end up in the stats on Saturday? Were you 7th? 6th?
Where I play 7th, I think.
Yeah, 7th?
Yeah, 7th. Yep.
Kevin, where did you end up?
Don't.
Sorry, Kev?
Sorry, my connection's not great here. I ended up 5th.
Okay. And then, Matt, you ended up 10th, right?
Yeah, I was 10th.
Not bad. Is that your highest finish so far to CRPS?
No, I got 8th at Clarence Creek last year.
Nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
That was a miracle, though.
Well, now you finished 10th. Now, this was a tough field. We had all the heavy hitters out. It was it was a great match. It was. We'll talk about that on the recap. But
exactly. I loved the match though. It was awesome.
John, it was freaking amazing. It was freaking amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Hats off to you and the volunteer crew.
Where was that match?
Palmerston.
On John's property there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was the match director. John, did you get a chance to watch the video yet?
Yeah, I did watch the video last night, maybe. I don't remember.
Nice. Yeah, it turned out quite well. I liked how it turned out.
Yeah.
Peter, you remember that Vortex Canada has free registrations as part of your sponsorship?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, thank you.
So we're still waiting for you to show up. That's my subtle hint.
Well, I just got the rifle put together here. Actually,
nice.
One more piece, but I could get out to a match if I can find some range time, get some dope. And
I know everyone's got the same issue.
Yeah.
Well, not the CRPS Rimfire Nation podcast staffers. They got lots of opportunities.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a crazy amount.
I was going to say we had a rifle all set up ready to go that you could have come and used. I mean, it had an Athlon on it, but you know.
No, we're gonna fix that. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go live, guys. Stand by. Hey. Welcome to the Rimfire Nation podcast, episode 5, Palmerston Match recap, and a discussion, a rambling discussion with Vortex Canada on the various optics that they offer, not only for our short, medium, and long range, but in general, and guide us through the process of selecting your first Vortex scope and kind of what the typical range of progression is. So today we are joined by several Vortex Canada representatives, and I'll let themselves introduce themselves. I guess that doesn't sound right. So why don't we start with you, Daryl, then we'll go to Reg, and then Peter.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. My name's Daryl, and I'm a customer service representative and technical support agent for Vortex Canada.
Hey Rick, good to be here with you guys. My name is Reg. I'm our technical field advisor. I'm out of the office. I work from home, just simply due to the amount of travel and whatnot. But yeah, if you got questions, it usually is directed towards Daryl. Then he puts it over to me.
Hey guys, my name is Peter Ray. I'm the Ontario Territory Sales Manager. So I make sure that we make some sales and pay these guys their salaries. Oh, that's what I did. Yeah.
Nice. And it's greatly appreciated, Peter. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then I'll let the Rimfire Nation podcast staffers and CRPS volunteers introduce themselves. Matt?
Hi, my name is Matt, and I have a small YouTube channel called WOMFAT, hence the name. And I am a competitor in the CRPS series, and I'm also helping Rick out this year doing some background stuff with new shooter development. Yep. And yeah, it's a good time.
Helping me get it done as opposed to me just thinking about getting it done.
Yeah, exactly. Matt. Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh. Kevin. Dapper Kevin. Is he frozen?
Great. But Kevin, I do the essentially capture the dope for all the motor rifles that are used in CRPS. So I'll keep it short.
Yeah, I got a bunch more for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm looking forward.
John,
I'm gonna get it done for probably 4 to 6 rifles, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
I have a nice one right now that I'm gonna hand over to Kevin soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their greasy mitts on that one already.
Yeah, exactly.
John, how about you? Who are you, John?
I'm just me. Match director for the Palmerston Match, and I also do the stats for the CRPS. If you find the yellow shirt at the match, you probably got me. Say hi anytime. Usually cheerful. If I'm not, I'll let you know.
He's the master statistician and a budding ballistician, which is awesome. Yeah, that's cool. So this podcast is brought to you by Tesro Canada. And Asmir just shared with us the new CZs that he's been bringing in. CZ Varmint Precision Bolt Action Chassis. Is that right? Where's that one?
The precision chassis.
Precision chassis.
There you go.
Which is the new hotness, which now kind of eats into the LRP, which is nice. I mean, 24-inch barrel's a little on the long side, but you know, I'm sure I could make it work. Then there was the other one. Oh, this one is the 16-inch barrel. And then there's the other one that is the Precision Trainer Camo Suppressor Ready in a 16.5. Is this the model that Adrian was shooting at the match?
Yes.
That was Chris's.
It was Chris's. Rifle. Yeah, but Adrian was using it. The one with the carbon barrel there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's a nice setup. What are they asking for that? 1669. That's a pretty good deal. Yeah. That's a pretty good deal. So also Tesro started to carry spur mounts. I think I mentioned that last week. So if you go to tesro.ca and click on the just arrived, you'll see all the new hotness that Asmir and Miriam are putting into your greasy little hands, as well as the sail. Let's ignore those Citron scopes. Vortex is the only one for us, right, guys? So that is Tesro. So thanks, Asmir. Thanks, Miriam. It's a great family-run organized operation. They work very hard to keep us fed with ammo and firearms. Actually, the rifle that we give away was donated by Tessero. So that was a CZ457 synthetic, which is probably going to be the production class one to beat. That and maybe the Tika T1X. Mind you, we haven't seen the new Bergara rimfires. So Anthony Byler from Odell called me last week saying he's waiting. As soon as they come in, he's going to send us ours so we can put it on the loaner program.
Nice, very cool.
So yeah, so thank you, Odell. I'm waiting for that. Thank you, Anthony. And let's talk about the Palmerston match. I think based on all the comments, without exception, everyone has been telling me what a great match that was. So John, I'm sure you've heard it a million times. You're going to have to hear it at least 5 more times this call. Thank you very much for putting an awesome match. I know you were kind of hemming and hawing and trying to second guess yourself on target sizes and placement. So I think the balance was perfect. Just enough to make it challenging with enough, well, some say too many mental tests in there with that in out and the mag removal, which caught out. I won't spoil it, but from my perspective, it was a good fast paced match with enough movement, probably the most movement you ever put into a match, certainly. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. You just need to take down that garage on the back so we can get sunshine on stages 8, 9, and 10. It's a little dark and cool there, but that's my only complaint. If I was going to be nitpicky, that's the only one. It's a little bit more sunshine on those back stages. So for those that don't know, Palmerston is basically a L-shaped range, which is actually a farm. And so John's got all 10 stages set up, and some of them are pretty close to 180 in terms of traversing targets. So you've got wind changing on you as you engage. In this case, it was 5 targets. That was the attack on Hoth, everyone's favorite targets, donated by Brent Jesney.
Yeah.
So we were simulating, the rebel fight on the ice planet of Hoth. So we had Imperial droids cut out, accurate, and you had to engage them. You had to neutralize them, or you had to stage 0, right? If you didn't get one hit at least on one.
Exactly.
So there was like the pucker factor was super high on that one. And I think it caught a few people out. So I think that was my favorite stage. And you were on a hill too. I think John was hoping for some snow, so that would have been a snowbank to really make it complete. But I think I preferred the 11-degree weather. And I think that was my favorite, I'd have to say. And then guys, what are your thoughts on that?
So in terms of the match overall, again, I keep like using the word dynamic. I think it was very dynamic in terms of target engagements and transitions. Lots of things to keep in your mind. The mental game was definitely a challenge because of the transitions, and obviously John put in the mandatory magazine reload, which caught me. So I zeroed a stage, but live and learn. At the end of the day, it's fair because everyone has to deal with it, right? But it was really good. And my favorite stage, besides the Hoth stage, just because I'm a big Star Wars fan. But since you already took that one, I'll have to say the trailer stage with the bottom and top position with the cards that you have to flip over. Yeah, stage 2, I think it was. Yeah, that one was probably my favorite. Very, very unique. I mean, I have never shot anything like that at a rimfire match before, so it was very cool.
It was brutal. These old eyes couldn't read the turrets.
I warned you too.
I know. I didn't know what to do about it. I thought, I should get my headlight or something. I don't know, but
for those of you who are wondering, basically you were shooting from inside a construction trailer outwards, but since it was so bright outside and you're under shadow, it was really hard to read your turrets. So I warned Rick because I saw he was wearing sunglasses. Like, once you get in there, you're not going to be able to read your turrets. And sure enough, he couldn't read his turrets very well.
I think it was Ron Ald that somebody advised someone to close one eye.
Oh yeah, like
before,
a pirate.
Yeah, before, and then when you go in, then you open that eye. So maybe it was Ron Sharp. I think Ron Sharp was providing that advice. So
yeah, it was pretty cool though. Very cool stage. I like that one a lot.
Kevin, any feedback?
It was a good debate. It was a good match. I think The one that John did last year was equally as impressive. It's a perfect balance of target size to basically difficulty. I mean, the wind was fairly high. There's a lot of movement. The target sizes were fairly generous, so it made it reasonable. So that the top guys are still only getting 80 to 90 points. They're not just cleaning the entire thing. Other than my 2 mishaps, which cost me a podium, it was a very, very good match, as always.
Yeah, other than my 5 mishaps that cost me a podium, yeah, me too.
Yeah, considering I had 2 really bad mishaps and I still finished in 5th, I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, you were
yeah.
close. Yeah, you would have been up there for sure. For sure. Yeah. Hey John, what did you think about how did it play out compared to what you thought it was going to be? Sorry, Kevin, did you have anything else?
I don't like magazine removals in the middle of the stage.
That's why he puts them in. You're lucky he didn't make you load that magazine.
I thought of it.
I know. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. Yeah, you rat bastard. It was good. It was good.
I guess for me, I thoroughly enjoy complex problem-solving stages. So you've seen what happens if I let that go. But yes, I was definitely concerned about the difficulty of it. I was concerned I had it too simple. If we had a low wind day, we would have had a lot of cleans. And I'm glad that I did not yield to the temptation to swap out the larger targets for smaller ones.
Yeah.
What I did discover, though, and I'm not sure how to approach this going forward, basically what I created by pushing the time is a bigger gap between the average shooter and the top shooter. And the average hit percentage for the day was lower than I would have liked to see it. So probably, Kevin, no more mag changes in the middle of stages. I'll calm down a little bit. But if I ever do a championship, we'll see.
Reloads,
we'll see.
Reloads on the clock.
It's gonna be. It's not a mag change. It's gonna be a rifle change.
Hey,
yes, Yannick. Yes.
No comment. No comment, John.
I was gonna ignore him. I seen the.
There's a
comment
picture
there,
evidence
but-
of it now too.
Yeah.
John
So-
loves tripods.
Yeah.
Well, I think it brings up it's a good point to bring up. I don't like tripods. I'm against them. I said that. But sometimes you have to be willing to go back on what you say in order to do better. And I expected to time out on that, or that would be a stage that was pushed for time. So I decided to use a tripod. So yes, I'll eat my words, and cheerfully.
Yeah.
That stage is... Pardon?
You see Yannick's video on tripod?
Yes, I loved it.
Stage 10. Where he just dumps
just
it.
chuck the thing.
Yeah, just
that's
chucks
funny.
it. Yeah, with wanton hatred there. Yeah. Sorry, John.
So I was a little disappointed, though. I purposely built several of those stages. 2 in particular do not work with a tripod. And somehow, Kevin, you made it work. So I guess I'm going to have to try harder next time.
Was one of them stage 8, the Mission Impossible?
I didn't actually think about that one. The posts, I figured he'd get tangled in the cross pieces because of the angle, and the trailer. He was not supposed to be able to use it in the trailer.
I used the tripod on the posts as well.
Yeah, I seen a few people did then. So obviously it did work.
Yeah, you can just drag it across. That's like...
It was extremely easy. The trailer was also fairly reasonable. I lost half my points because I shot it off in the top run. I wasn't paying attention. But I got the tripod in there, and it would have been no problem to shoot it from the bottom run or the top run.
Yeah.
So you could have shot from the bottom too.
Yeah.
So that's what I get for not using a tripod. Then I think it's hard, and then it's easy.
Yeah. I mean, on the post one, if you want to discourage the post, you should make them jump around from odd to even posts.
I thought of it, but I thought I should have one stage with it patterns for a change.
Why, John? Why break the mold?
You don't want to do everything the same.
No, it was good. It was really good. What
The
else? So we should
stage,
announce the
the
winners. Yeah, go ahead.
with the sudden death, if you missed 2,
That was good.
that one almost got me. I was going along good, and I missed my last shot. I missed my first shot on the last target,
That's stressful.
and I just that was not good. And I clipped the bottom edge by half an inch. Otherwise,
Oh,
I would
man.
have zeroed that stage. So I almost got caught with my own devices. So
Yes.
That stage
Yes.
got Andre, I think.
Yeah.
it did get it got a few people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
I
talking
think
to him.
Andre got nailed on the mag removal too, didn't he?
Yes, and the Hoth stage. So he got a
Oh,
double
man.
whammy that day.
So that was brutal.
Yeah. And I mean, it
Well,
gets you, right? Just one small error and all your points are gone. So
I'm sure he hates you now, John. He's never going to shoot one of your matches again.
Yeah, he placed very well for zeroing 2 stages, though.
Yeah, and now he's pissed because he would have won.
yeah, exactly.
So congratulations to you.
Yeah.
So speaking of winners, we had in the youth, we had 2 youth shooters, Colton Cairncross and Hicks Jr. Came in first and second. In production, we had Pascal Jolicoeur and Ron Ramnerace, Micah. Great guy. He had a good time. He was using one of the Tika T1X loaners that you sorted out, Kevin. I don't know if you remember that. And then in the open division, Kevin Needswitz just walks away from the pack with a 91. And then Donna 83 and Brett Sharp with a 79. So what a fabulous match. And then we had Yannick, Kevin Goyette, Lucas Compton, John Gingrich, Sam Sharp, Ian Cairncross, and Matt rounding up the rest of the top 10 field. Ian's shooting well. Ian's shooting well, man. He had a good match. So, sorry, I thought I was sharing the practice score. Sorry, guys. You just had to look at my face as I'm watching. Yeah, this is not a professional setup. It's just a bunch of guys. Any other comments? So, John, keep those amazing matches coming. I think you're hosting an NRS match
April
on
10th.
April 10th.
Yeah.
But you're not the match director for that, though, right?
No, Adam's going to take care of
Adam.
that one.
So you're just the
I'm just gonna
property
come
owner. So you're gonna sit on the veranda with your mint julep, criticizing Adam as he puts the targets in all incorrectly. That'd be awesome.
Sit and watch him do the work.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna help out. You're just that kind of guy. Such a nice guy. Oh, it was Andre. Andre commented.
What did he say?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yeah.
Sorry, Andre.
Sorry,
I know how you
Actually,
feel.
no, I'm not.
I know exactly how you feel. It hurts inside.
Mission accomplished. Yeah. Mission accomplished. Awesome.
I almost got caught on the bag thing myself. So, like, I devised these tricks, to catch people, but I almost got caught with my own tricks throughout the day several times.
Yeah. But that's the game, which is awesome.
At least yours wasn't caught on camera for everyone to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Narrated walk of shame.
Yeah, exactly.
now, John, if you were going to be honest, I heard some rumors that you were almost to the other barricade when you took your mag out. Is that true?
That would be stretching it slightly.
Okay.
I was probably 2 steps, and I heard somebody say mag, and I dumped my mag. I don't know if they intended to tell me or what happened, but somebody said mag, and I heard them, so I dumped my mag.
Okay. Well, we had 57 shooters, 10 stages, tons of fun. I think people are still smiling from that match. So well done, man. Congratulations. Kudos to you and your team. Thanks to your wife and children for putting up with us again. You have an awesome family. You're a lucky guy.
I am. I don't even mind admitting it.
Yeah. Kendrick got his 3rd place youth medal.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah.
He seemed happy. Actually, at first he seemed indifferent, and then he seemed happy with it.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. He's a good kid. He's fun. All right. Well, I'm at it. Hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We need this to reach more new shooters. For those that don't know, this is episode 5. Episode 1 is really breaking it all out, kind of starting from the very beginning with what you need, how to get started. We break down the different competitions and then follow the progression. And we're going to keep recording these until we run out of topics. This is not something that is intended to go forever. It's really just to help answer new and experienced shooter questions about shooting rimfire precision competitions. So thank you all for joining us. And without any further ado, I would like to welcome Vortex Canada as probably the biggest sponsor of CRPS. I don't know if many people know that. They are the title sponsors for the Outlaw Rimfire Precision Series. You guys put prizes on all the ranges and the clubs hosting Outlaw Rimfire this year, and also bringing out the CRPS staff. So thank you. My wife loves seeing more hats and T-shirts in our closet. And bling. So thank you. Also, Rimfire Race Guns, which is the new series this year, as well as a platinum sponsor for CRPS. So thank you very much for all you do. And we're not the only organization and events you sponsor. So thank you guys very much for all your hard work. And I think a dozen ranges across Canada are very grateful for the love that you show. They feel special. They feel loved, which is awesome, you know. And that's coast to coast from New Brunswick all the way to Vancouver Island. You guys make that happen. So thank you very much. And also you guys sponsor the Vortex Marksman Challenge, which is our monthly target. So we draw 3 names out of the list and it gets people shooting. So I don't know if you've seen it, but we get probably 50, 60 people submitting results, and probably an equal number, if not double that, not submitting the results, but shooting the targets themselves. So thank you for providing prizes for that. And without any further ado, let's chat optics, because that is probably the most intimidating thing. When you're buying a rifle, you know which ones you kind of like. You're gonna buy a Savage or a Tika or a CZ or any one of the the Ruger Precision Rimfires, or the whatever. You kind of know what you're gravitating to, but then you get this mill, and there's MOAs and Meridians, and then you got all these models, and you got aggressive sounding names, and where do you start? So is there a way for you guys to kind of walk us through the typical progression? And full disclosure, the Vortex Diamondback Tactical is the #1 optic in the Rimfire Precision series. Probably because it works and it's in that sweet spot of a price range under $700 MSRP, and that's been since year 1. So, if that's the starting point, right? Where do people go, and how do they decide what to do next? And guys, if you guys got questions, don't hesitate to. You got the people here right now. So I don't know who wants to take that on.
Well,
Daryl.
I'll start just for a second. And you talked about the Diamondback Tactical there, and you hit the nail right on the head. It's all about accessibility. The price point makes it very accessible to people that are getting started out, and maybe they're dusting off the old Cooey or the old Ruger 1022 and coming out and giving it a try. And it's a scope that gives them almost every feature of like our top tier scopes at a budget price, and with decent glass and good turrets, good tracking, and excellent reticle, and that doesn't break the bank. So that's the reason why the Diamondback Tactical is just so popular.
Yeah.
As we were discussing before the show, the Diamondback Tactical, and as Peter just mentioned, it really is a scope that does it all, or can do it all, with the tactical exposed turrets, first focal plane, as well as a side parallax adjustment. If you're just getting into the Rimfire Precision series, or you're just getting into long range shooting, it's a scope that you can grow into. It's the first of its kind at the price point that it's offered at, and really, whether or not you utilize all of the functions and features right away, it's really a great optic that you can grow into. But back to your original question, I mean, typically if I have anybody that calls in and they're like, hey, I've got this rifle, what should I put on it? As Peter mentioned, it's about accessibility, and throughout our product line, it really depends. I ask, what are you looking to do with the optic and the firearm, and what are you looking at spending? Then there's some subsequent questions that follow, distance, features that you're looking for, so on and so forth. So that's usually a good starting point for myself.
Right. Now, one of the probably the most common questions for new shooters is MOA or mills.
Reg?
Does it matter?
No.
Does it really matter?
No.
Or what's
no.
the deciding factor of going one versus the other?
Well, first of all, for those that are just chiming in, they're learning about this, mills or MOA, they're a unit of angular measurement, and they do exactly the same thing. So you could have Buddy on the firing line that's running a minute of angle optic, and Buddy on the other side is running a mill optic, and they're still able to do the same thing. So it's just a way of calculating either shot correction or the angular unit of measurement that you need. So
right.
It's funny because when we start talking about this, and we'll get into, I'm sure, first and second focal plane as we travel along here, but it's only been about the last 10 years where people are starting to come on and say, well, we have matching reticles. We have this for MOA and this for MILRAD. Reticles and everything like that, when we talk about a minute of angle, we've always had matching reticles when it comes to minute of angle in the turret system. As soon as we were able to put turrets on a scope, that scope was already calculated minute angle, so it matched. So whatever you saw for your shot correction, you would apply that to your turret system. And that could be as simple as doing just do a zeroing process on the range. So MOA and mills, like I said, they do exactly the same thing. We seem to tend to now, we're seeing a transition that myself and Peter, we've been shooting for a long time together. And I can say that we both run mills. It's just, we find it's an easier way to either talk to each other, or I like it in the way that it's easier to work both on the yardage range and for meters. With mills lends itself both nicely to both those different units, because we think of 1 mil at 100 yards is 3.6 inches, but 1 mil at 100 meters is equivalent to 3.937 inches or 1 centimeter. So in our minds, we don't want to do math or anything like that. So if you do have to do math, the beautiful thing about mils and in meters is that we just round everything off to 4 and call it good. So whatever unit of measurement that the customer wants to dive into, they just need to be something that they dive wholeheartedly into. That'd be my biggest recommendation is, if you're going to jump into the sport and you're going to run with minutes, then stay with minutes. If you're going to run with mills, stay with mills. That way you're not jumping back and forth and then getting confused. Because in this game that you're playing, it's really a mental game. And you got to have your wits about you, and you got to be fast. And you notice, like when you were just bringing up early, trying to do a mag change and remember numbers and remember distances, and oh crap, am I running mills or minutes? And you're thinking back. Just keep it simple. So I know that with Daryl and I, this is a topic that's asked on a daily for us when we get calls. What's better and what should I go with? And it's not that simple of an answer. It's really what you feel comfortable in. And I would say educate yourself just a little bit to understand what it is about, and then you make the decision what works best for you. Right. Do you want to chime in on this, Peter? Would you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, what I generally ask people in return when they ask me what should I use, MOA or MRAD, I ask them, have you ever used a scope before? And generally the answer is yes. And I ask them, okay, well, what unit of measure does that scope use? And if they don't know, it's almost guaranteed it's an MOA. They've just been manufactured that way for a lot longer than an MRAD scope. So I generally tell them to stick with what they already have. If they don't already have a scope, I ask them, well, your shooting buddies, what are they shooting? Do they shoot MOA or MRAD? And shoot the same as them. So
that's
you can
a great
talk the
question.
same language, So
yeah.
And a lot of people like to confuse it. Reg hit the nail right on the head right at the beginning of his little monologue there, where it's angular unit of measure. So many people want to convert it into linear, and it's not linear. People ask me on the range, well, how many inches is that, or how many clicks is that? And it's like, it's not inches, it's not clicks, it's MOA or it's MRAD. Read it on your reticle, apply the correction to your turret, and try to forget linear measurement. It's all angular, and it just subtends over the distance. So it's
Nice.
Once you can wrap your head around that, and it's a little bit of a concept for some people, but once you wrap your head around that, it's so much easier. The only problem, and like you said during the warm up there, Rick, old eyes, it's kind of hard to look up and dial 2.7 mils anymore. So now I'm back to count clicks. So
Is that right?
yeah, so because I need glasses for short range reading, but I don't need them for long range. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a challenge. But yeah, so it's just comes down to what you're comfortable with, and just like Reg said, dive into it, learn the system, and once you learn it, it'll become second nature for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like mills because the numbers are lower.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's like just lower. It's like 10 instead of whatever, 29 or 32 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's a little easier too when you're working in tandem. If you're working in tandem with a shooter and a spotter, I think back to days when Pete and I got into it, and it's just easier to make shot corrections or talk to each other. Everyone's talking the same language, and if you look at minutes and say, okay, Pete, elevate, 6.5 minutes or 6.25 minutes. When we get into mills, it's just elevate 2.1, elevate 0.1, right, left, 1.1, 0.2. We just find it's much easier to communicate. I like it personally better. If you don't have to be a rock, I'm not the sharpest tool in the drawer. So all you need to do is learn how to count to 10, and you're already a rock star. So it makes life really simple. And I think for sales, when we look at the volume of scopes that we sell, Daryl can probably give us a little insight in here. But for the most part, in my world that I'm dealing with, more and more people are transitioning over to mills. I think maybe you can speak on this, Rick, and see what you tell me what's on the line that you see more often, whether it's minutes or mills. But I'm starting to see that transition slowly happen to mills, and maybe it's the younger crowd, maybe it's the newer shooters are taking to it a little more easier. Back in the day when I was a kid, just learning about scopes out on the farm, like that's all we had is just the old Tasco with the old minute of angle, right? That's all you had to work with, and you thought you were a rock star then. But now the equipment we have to work with, and the accuracy that we have within our units that we put on the market today is it's phenomenal. So we have lots of aids out there to help, especially new shooters, with media. Visit our websites. We're always working on videos. We're working closely with some people to put some new videos up.
Nice.
But Vortex USA, you can visit our website. You can visit Vortex USA's website as well. And we've got oodles and oodles of great videos, and they'll talk. I think Jimmy's even got a video tossed in there about MOA and mills and how to do it, and even range finding and whatnot. I'll put a plug in for myself, is that we do have a book that I wrote a few years ago, and I just put it together so it's simple, just the way we're talking now. It's not about Galileo and the stars and all that kind of nonsense. It's just, how do I move around the point of impact on the target and make the scope do great and wonderful things? So there's lots of education out there. It's not a difficult thing. I remember, like, when you talk to someone that's first learning how to manipulate, whether minute of angle or mills, once they get the hang of it, the light bulb comes on. They're like, "Hey, brother, why didn't I learn this years ago? I would have saved a crap load of ammo."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm just rambling on now, Rick. But for the most part, just educate yourself a little bit. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and visit these shoots that these guys are doing. Jump up on the line and just even talk to the guys when they're not shooting, and ask the questions, and you might get a feel for what more guys and girls are kind of transitioning to.
Yeah, it's about 75% MRAD versus MOA right now. But
it's that far along.
I would say it's more than that. Probably closer to 80, 90%. So going back to, I guess, more our PRS style shooting discipline, mills, I think, generally work better because of the lower numbers you said. Like if a revolution is 10 mils, working in those 10 mil increments is super easy, whether it's, versus whatever 28 MOA or something like that. And going back to your point of people switching to MRAD, I've never met a mill user saying they're going to switch to MOA, but I've met quite a few MOA users saying they're going to switch to mill. And I know Kevin's having sketchy connection, but he started in MOA, and just last year, or maybe 2 years ago, he switched to mills, and he's happy he did. Same with one of our buddies, Colin. So we see a lot of shooters go from MOA to mills, and I think that's going to be the trend going forward. Just because PRS shooters, again, because you have to do the quick mental math, and working in tens is just so much easier. I think we're going to see that going forward as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point. As well as when you look at a reticle that's designed for MOA, typical reticle for us on an MOA scale would be 30 minutes. 30 minutes, if you're starting to hold at 30, whether it's 30 minutes or a lot of our reticles design is designed for mills, that's 10 mils. So when you look at the complexity of a reticle, where I personally think that the MRAD is a little more simplistic. We're not talking large volumes of numbers. It's really, again, just count to 1 to 10. And when you're trying to aid somebody and getting on target or make a shot correction, I think simplicity is king. Just working in simple tandem order and not making things complex. And I really do believe that that mills is the way of the future, and we're starting to see it. If you guys are seeing it on the rimfire ranges, the guys that I talk to in our day-to-day operations that are on the range when I'm chatting with them, even our law enforcement crowd that we're tending to now, they don't want anything to do with MOAs. Just send me mills. So yeah, we're watching that transition happen right across the board.
Right. What's the second most common question you guys get for scopes?
That's a tough one. Reg, any help?
If it's not MOA,
I think that's. I'm sorry, Peter. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it's not what we just covered, MOA or MRAD, it's first or second focal plane.
That's a good one.
Yeah. A lot of the questions that we get, a lot of the questions that Peter or Daryl or myself or any of our reps get asked are very common and very just general questions, but they are very important. Maybe do you want to talk about that, Pete, on first and second?
That would be great. I think that's probably the second most common question we get as well.
Yeah, the easiest way that I've figured out on how to determine how to explain the difference between first and second focal plane is quite simple. First of all, everyone needs to understand that the reticle is not only our primary aiming device, but it's also a ruler. It's a tape measure, right? So it doesn't matter if it's first or second, it's a tape measure. Of course, in second focal plane, we have to be at the predetermined magnification level for it to read true. But and generally that's at max power, but not always. So make sure you read your manuals. But because it's a tape measure, it makes it very simple to do this analogy. So let's imagine we have two people standing a distance apart, and let's say, Rick, it's you and me, okay? And Rick, you are the shooter, and I represent the target, okay? Not a position I really want to be in, but it's the easiest way to describe it. Okay.
You're safe, buddy.
Okay, good. All right. So you have a first focal plane scope. What that means is, let's say we're 100 yards apart. I have the tape measure in my hand. Let's just call it a yardstick. So I'm holding the yardstick so that you can see me. You can see the yardstick. You can see how big I am in relation to the yardstick. Okay. So as I walk closer to you, that's basically you simulating turning up the magnification of your scope. Do you understand what I mean? So as I get closer to you, I get bigger in relation to you, right? And that's the magnification being turned up. So not only do I get bigger, but the ruler or the reticle gets bigger at the same time. Do you understand? Does that make sense? Okay. So that's first focal plane. So the reticle or the ruler and the target are on the same focal plane. So as the magnification gets turned up or down, they both grow or shrink at the same ratio. So opposite of that, in second focal plane, the shooter, or you, Rick, you now hold the ruler. You hold it out at arm's length. I'm 100 yards away. You can measure me. I'm probably about that big at 100 yards. But as I walk closer to you, again, simulating magnification being turned up, I get bigger and bigger and bigger, but the ruler stays the same. Okay. So does that make sense? Does everybody understand that? Did I explain it correctly, or did I leave some gaps, or what?
I got it.
Okay.
I think that's the best description I've heard for very simple on first and second. So I will be using that on you sometime.
Okay, perfect. So
Yeah.
advantages and disadvantages between first and second focal plane. So the game that we're playing here, you know, we're shooting PRS, and it's fast moving, and there's lots of action, and you know, hopefully we don't miss, but it's inevitable. Hopefully you can use your reticle to calculate or measure that miss and apply a correction. So a first focal plane has the advantage in this game because the reticle is going to give us valid or true measurements at any magnification level. Doesn't matter if we're at minimum or maximum. And as you guys were saying earlier, your field of fire on one of your stages was almost 180 degrees, and you probably had varying distances to your targets too. So you're probably going to run like a low to a minimum or low to a medium magnification level to maintain field of view, so you can find your targets fast. Because if you can't find your target, you're wasting time, right? So first focal plane in the game that we play is really going to speed up your shots and your corrections when you make a miss. If you're playing a different game, say like F class or bench rest, where it's stationary, you know, fixed position target, and you're just sitting there just methodically plunking away, which is a lot of fun too. You're driving little wee tiny groups into the V-bowl. You're probably going to use a second focal plane reticle, because at high magnification, the reticle is going to be appear smaller in relation to the target. So it's going to give you a much finer point of aim. So that's kind of your advantages and disadvantages between them. You can also use a second focal plane. It's probably a little bit better suited for hunting applications because of that smaller reticle. At minimum power in a first focal plane, oftentimes the reticle almost disappears without illumination. So a second focal plane will help you with that. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's well said. Thank you. And I just want to say too, like, for those people that are trying to decide what scope is right for them, when we're speaking to customers, my train of thought when I'm speaking to someone is hey, ask them like, what are you going to use it for? But if I'm figuring out that they're probably going to be working, say the top 2/3 of their magnification range, it just kind of makes sense to go with the first focal plane, because the reticle is large enough in size that, just like Pete was saying, that you could use it as a ruler, and you're going to get, there's no math involved here, guys and girls. It's just what you see, where your shot lands on the reticle. That's what you're going to apply to your turrets. So if you're not working off the top 2/3 of your magnification range all the time, then yeah, second focal plane could very well be your choice that you would want to go into,
Right.
because you can work off both the lowest setting and the highest. It's actually more important to be able to turn your scope down as low as possible than to turn your scope up high as possible in a lot of situations. In the PRS game, or where you're engaging multiple targets very quickly, like Peter was saying, like, you got to have the flexibility that you just toss that magnification down a little bit so you get that wider field of view. But the problem is, once you pick your target up, this is where the mental side comes into it, is if you pick that target up in your field of view and you go to engage it and you have that, snap kind of moment. It's like, I screwed up. I didn't turn my magnification to the prescribed setting so it reads true. You've just occurred a miss, which could be critical. You can shoot the whole string set on that one magnification level, and they all occur misses. And you wonder when you walk away, what the hell happened there? So simplicity is, especially for new shooters coming into this type of event, is just get yourself into a first focal plane, because the chances are, John and Rick and the boys here, they're going to have you at multiple different ranges, and chucking a little 36 or a 40 grain to lead down range at 300 plus yards or meters, you're going to need to be able to have that ability to pull out on the field of view and then come back in very quickly, get rounds on range, downrange very quickly, and then move on. So when I was saying earlier, like, anyone that's involved with PRS or any other kind of very action type shooting, there's a lot of things going on. It really truly is a mental game. There's a lot happening. Right. So try to pick something that's very simple. Get rid of the math, get rid of the thinking as much as possible, because you have a lot of other things you need to be worrying about besides that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just want the holdovers to show in my reticle, if you don't mind, guys, next year. But I only want to pay like Diamondback tactical prices for it, and maybe like wind in the reticle would also be great. If you don't mind doing that, that'd be super.
Yeah.
If I could make a suggestion, yeah, like actually, if you could bring it under $500, that'd be awesome. Like, I'd be happy. No, that's awesome. That's great. And those are the two most common. And then the other one is, now that I've got, why should people look at upgrading? Like, if I compare the Strike Eagle to the Diamondback Tactical, what do I get, and why? When do I decide to upgrade?
Well, that's a great.
Just
Go ahead.
one last thing. Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say one last thing is when we start talking about all this kind of stuff, I hope we get a chance just to talk briefly about mounting, because when we talked about what are the two most common questions we have, I think anyone in the industry could honestly say it all comes down to mounting as well. That's one of the biggest, day in and day out. What kind of rings do I need? What's the height of my rings? There's so many different facets to this game. Even like people will go out and shoot, and I'm sure you guys have all seen this. Like, let's get a bubble level on that. Those little tiny things, what will give you consistency, are really critical. And going to a match and watching guys and girls participate and see what they're running on their rigs could really save you hundreds, if not possibly thousands of dollars in gear, just going to watch and speaking and talking and seeing what other people have. And I believe we sent you a bunch of optics, Rick, I think, to help you out on some of your loaner guys. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Diamondback Tacticals, and we've got the mounts for 30 millimeter lows. Yeah.
Right.
I was asking about the Strike Eagles because they're inbound. They're somewhere in a container from wherever they're made.
Sitting in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
I heard that was heartbreaking. Along with the Fury ABs.
Yeah.
Tragic. Yeah, no. So, and that's kind of and we didn't even think about talking about that, because like minimum cant for us is 35 MOA or 6 mil. That's minimum. And now guys are routinely looking at 50 MOA, or 12, is one of the I mean, it's common now. So usually guys are putting.
He's not going to cut it.
It's a good starting point, but guys like to slam that turret almost at the very bottom, so they got the full range of travel. Like, you don't want to go all the way down. You want to just stay just a little bit above, so you're not into that little, that gray area of potential gradiness, or asking for trouble. But everyone's saying 50 MO. If you can zero, 50 MOA is where people are zeroing now, or are slapping on now. So at a minimum, I think recommendation is 35 now. Used to be at least 20. Now it's minimum 35 or 40 even. A lot of the custom action makers are offering 50 as a machine out of the factory. So yeah, and 4 to 16 gives you all that when you travel. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, but when you do upgrade and you go, say, from the Diamondback Tactical up to like the Strike Eagle, those are one of the things that you're gaining on too, right? You're getting internal travel that you're gaining. So if you don't have those types of rails on your rifle, you could gain that through the optic as well. So
who do we drop? Well, we dropped Reg.
I think he dropped. Well, I'll kind of take over, since I did that exact upgrade. I went from the Diamondback Tactical to the Strike Eagle, and a big part of it was because the Diamondback Tactical I had was the 21 MOA, or pardon me, MRAD elevation model, the 6 to 24 times, and going to the Strike Eagle, you get 32, right? So, and even with the gained elevation, I basically slammed it on a 55 MOA base, and I was, I think, like 2 or 3 mils from the bottom at my 50-yard zero, and I have a full 28 mils up. That's without the zero stop, obviously, but that's exactly why I went to it. And then you get the zero stop, and the glass clarity is a lot better. And
Now, the only fly in the ointment, and we got to talk about the elephant in the room when we're talking Strike Eagle, is that zero stop limits you to 1 revolution, right?
Yeah, I get that comment all the time.
Which becomes a non-issue for us. 2 revolutions.
Yeah,
I mean, it becomes a non-issue for us if you put enough cant in there so that your mechanical stop like a mechanical end is close to the zero anyway.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but it is
how it's exactly how our old Gen 1 PST used to work, was a shim system. So
yeah,
Reg and I were talking about that this evening, because I'm working through this exact issue on the rifle that I just built. Is 20 MOA going to give me enough, or I've got a 40 on the way coming? So that's exactly what Reg and I were saying. If you can remove that zero stop and then just basically use the mechanical stop as your zero, as long as the mechanical stop is within one revolution of your zero setting, then it's very easy. Just hit the bottom and then just dial to zero, right? So.
Yeah. So going back to that, I did a little video on my Strike Eagle, and one of the most commented things is about the zero stop. So I know people do really care about that. And again, I set mine so it was like 3.5 mils from the mechanical stop. But even then, when you're shooting this type of matches, sometimes you want to crank down to zero and just have it stop right there, because you don't want to waste time going all the way down and then finding your zero. You know what I mean? So in that sense, I think it's still very beneficial to have a zero stop that doesn't limit the upward travel, again, specifically for what we do, because having your zero stop be right there, or maybe 0.5 of a mil down, is better than having it, a few mils below it. It just makes things easier.
Yeah. And John's matches don't go past 110 mil revolution anyway anymore, so we're good there. Right, John?
Yeah.
That was awesome. I went 10.1, and that was as high as it went that whole weekend. So thanks, John.
But some definitely do go past past that.
Yeah.
But nobody hits those targets, so it's a waste of time to haul them out there.
There you go. John is not lazy. He's smart.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I think everyone agrees that the Strike Eagle is kind of like that next step up, and I think you did a review on it, Matt. Like what were the things that you saw that you gained from that upgrade, aside from that extra travel?
The glass clarity is a big upgrade for sure. I mean, it's not quite PST level, but it's up there. And unless you're looking side by side, you basically can't tell the difference. So able to spot my trace or my, the actual bullet flying through the air is huge. And making corrections, we can see the impact downrange clearer is a lot easier. And the other thing, besides the zero stop, obviously, is the big chunky turrets are always fun. And but the thing about the turrets is going from a 6 mil per rev to a 10 mil per rev is huge, especially when you're doing multi-turn. Because let's say you have to dial 14 mils. Okay, well, it's pretty easy if you have a 6 mil, it's just 2 revs plus 2. But then your next dial is 9 mils. Well, okay, now you got to go back down, and now you're starting to do weird math in your head. And when you're shooting a stage in a match, I like to say your brain functions at about 5% of its true potential, because you're just under so much stress. So working in 10 mil increments again is just the way to do it. If you have a 6 mil turret, and I know people that I shoot with that have the Diamondback Tactical, that's almost their only complaint about it, is that it has 6 mil per rev, just because it's harder to work with in the sport that we do. And I mean, given the price point, I think the glass clarity and everything is acceptable. It's fine. It's good. But that 6 mil turret is why they upgrade to other scopes. It's not necessarily the glass clarity.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying that manufacturers build in lack of features to get you to spend more?
I know.
No way. That can't be happening.
Yeah. But you know what? Given the price point of the Strike Eagle 2, that is honestly a fantastic scope. And used it for 8 months hard, like through all the season, 30-degree weather, negative 20-degree weather. It just kept ticking. It is a great scope. Yeah.
I love me the chunky turrets, man.
Yes, and they look cool.
That's the tactile feedback you get from that is awesome. Yeah. It's probably one of the nicest turrets out there.
Yeah.
Like in terms of it just feels right. So
yeah, it looks right, it feels right.
Yeah, that's it, man. It just works.
Yeah, and when your gun looks better, you shoot better. So
Oh yeah, I mean it's perfect. It's like I get a razor. I get a razor for a good price. Go ahead, Reg. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, when you guys do, if they do decide to go, you are gonna go in a ring height difference. So some optics work a little better on some rifles, some rigs. Some really lend themselves easily to a larger objective size. Like that Strike Eagle is pushed. It's 56 mils, right? It's a good sized chunk of glass that's out front of you. So if those guys and girls that are opting for that, you just got to watch out that you get your proper ring selection for it. So, and that's kind of a thing for us right now. Our Pro Series rings are the go-to rings for us. Like anytime we're talking to customers or anything, it's like want to promote a ring or get them into a ring, go with the Pro Series rings. And then the next stage up from that is the PMRs.
The precision
With
match.
the 34 millimeter, and with the 34 millimeter tube on that Strike Eagle, we don't. That's the only one where we don't have a 34 millimeter ring as of yet. We're supposedly having some down the pipe. That's still on. We haven't seen that yet through Fruition, but
in the
for the most
series,
part,
maybe.
yeah, in the Pro Series.
Yeah.
So that means if you pick up a Strike Eagle and you want to go with a Vortex mounting ring, your selection would be our PMR rings or precision
PMRs.
match rings, or some of the rifles that you'll run, maybe like a Ruger Precision rimfire. Then you could even go to a cantilever style, which in this case we do have a cantilever that it incorporates another 20 minutes of angle if you really needed it. So
Nice.
if you're running like a Ruger that's already built in with 30 minutes, you can toss that on a cantilever, and you're going to gain another 20. Now you're really putting some cant in there that when you talk about driving that elevation drum down, you're driving that drum to the bottom, towards the bottom, and that's going to give you the only issue you might run into is, and Pete and I was talking about this earlier, is maybe trying to zero at 50, and so you got to watch that kind of stuff. But for the most part, I can see that Strike Eagle. Again, the amount of volume of calls that we're getting and guys and girls that are jumping into the sport, it's either going to be the Diamondback or the Strike Eagle. That's the top two that I'll go with there.
I think
Can I say one more thing I love about the Strike Eagle? It's the field of view. I have yet to see a scope even near that price point that is anything close to the field of view the Strike Eagle gives, and that's something that I definitely appreciate, especially shooting these types of matches. When I'm shooting 14 times power, it feels like I'm looking through like a giant pipe rather than a McDonald's straw. So it's definitely very impressive. I like it.
Yeah.
So is that two thumbs up?
Can I ask you guys?
Oh yeah.
Can I ask you, like you were talking about it earlier, like the volume of Vortex product on the line? Because when we are on the line and we see centerfire rifle competitions, it's nothing to see obviously different manufacturers around there, but we see a lot of our accessories running. Some guy may be running a different manufacturer scope, but he's running our rings or our bubble levels or our switch views. Would you say that the majority of what you guys are seeing are Vortex products?
For sure.
Yes, it's without a doubt that Vortex has the most optics on the line. And guys that are running Vortex optics are generally running Vortex mounting systems, other than the guys that have switched and are using the Burris Signature series with the inserts to get additional elevation.
Right.
But it's not even a maybe that Vortex is the most common.
Can you see that chart?
Yeah, man, Rick, you're really good and really handy with this Johnny on the spot stuff.
So if you look at it, so that's Vortex Diamondback Tactical at the top line. Like if you scroll down, I mean, there's nobody that comes close. And then you've got the PST Gen 2, which again dominates everything else. Then you've got the Razor Gen,
and the Strike Eagle just came out last year. That's why the bar isn't bigger.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'll see a switch already. Like the Strike Eagle.
Gonna go. Yeah.
I mean, it's the Cabela's Covenant is the only one that beats the Strike Eagle right now. Right. Well, this is last year's data as well, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably the entry level scope that all the competitors will try out. Cabela's Covenant. I mean, it's a great value for under a few hundred bucks. So, and then the next one from there obviously is the Diamondback Tactical, and then from there the Strike Eagle, then PST Gen 2, or people will jump to the Razor Gen 2s,
That's a great
or
chart,
Gen 3s. Yeah, I think I shared it with you guys. Yeah, and you guys do. Oh yeah, sorry, Daryl, you haven't seen this. Yeah, so we try and capture stats and share with our sponsors so you guys get to know. So Daryl's got a smile on his face.
Going back to the Vortex accessories, though, I think that's something you guys do really well. Like you guys have all the accessories you want: throw levers, bubble levels, flip caps. Other companies might give you the scope, and there's nothing else, nothing else in the box, but you get all the bells and whistles, like the sunshade and everything. It's awesome.
If you guys made dope card holders, then you'd have everything.
Yeah.
That's the only thing missing.
We used to make these little plastic discs
in the flips.
Yeah. And they were fantastic. They almost looked like a casino chip. And they went in
Yeah.
like a bayonet. They went in there and they turned. They were phenomenal. But the only problem is with those type of things is they are customer driven and customer based. So it's up to the customer to put in the proper data so that when they get made up. So if they don't and they get their chip back and then they get on the range and say, hey, this doesn't jive with what I need. It's not a problem with Vortex or whoever's doing it for us.
Right.
It's just what you put in is what you get out. So if you do have an alternative to that, you just need to watch what you're doing. And again, that old saying, whatever you put in, that crap in, crap out type thing. So just make sure that it's always good. Like anyone that's got time behind the rifle, and we all enjoy having gadgets like the ballistic calculators and all this kind of stuff. But it's always great just to confirm your dope. Bullet holes and targets, they never lie. So if you say you need one thing, it's best to go down and punch paper and make sure that it's exactly what you got. Then go out and get yourself all these kind of gadgets.
Yeah. I think for those folks that are serious about really doing well, like getting into cracking the top 10, you got to be confirming your dope. There's no two ways about it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just hoping, right? And I think if you look at the top 10, all of those guys have confirmed dope out to the distances they're competing at. So
not only that, but Reg and I learned a long time from an old guy in the industry that battery operated devices are in one of two different states. They're either dead or they're about to be dead. So if you're depending on your phone ballistic app or your Kestrel or whatever, like you're just waiting for the battery to die is basically what you're doing, right? And like Matt said, you're on 5% brain power, and when that dies, you probably just went to about 1% brain power. What do I do now? So if you've got it written down, if you've got hard copy, and your battery dies, no problem. You just grab your sniper log or shooting log and look it up.
That's why we have that column in all the match booklets, just to write down your elevation.
Yeah.
Just so you have it with you. Nobody uses it. I don't think anyone uses it except me.
Well, I shot one of your first matches 3-4 years ago in Petawawa.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
Petawawa. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Reg, you and Reg were there.
Yeah,
we both were there.
Reg and I were there, and I don't know what happened. All the big guns must not have showed up, or they got drunk the night before. I ended up in second or third. I think it was third place. I think, and I used. You gave us the match booklets that morning, and that's what Reg and I went and did. We went and sat down, started scribbling out numbers, and because we knew that we were going to need it. That's just we're old school that way. So, absolutely.
Yeah. So now you got to defend your title. That's the crazy thing. Like, just in a few short years, like if you look at a picture of the rifles on the line then and the optics to what it's on now, it is a huge technological leap. Like the space race is on, man. The number of custom actions and multi-$1,000 optics is staggering.
Yeah.
And
People are spending more on their rimfire rigs. Yeah,
and the crazy thing is you're talking about rimfire, right? It's like people that are not in this world and from a different shooting discipline would say, "What the hell are you doing spending $2,000 on a?" I think Peter's put more rifles together than any man I know, and he does a really good job at it. That's for sure. He's got the knack for it, but. That it does take a lot of money to get going if you're talking top tier, but. There's, I think you guys can vouch on this, that, people that want to get involved, nothing happens if you sit at home. You got to get out and do it. And there's nothing wrong. Like Pete said, you grab your granddaddy's old Cooey and mount her up and off you go. You can grab just an old Savage bolt action 64 and get it mounted up with a good quality optic, get a bubble level on it, get some time and get practicing out if you got a place to practice. And you know what? You're a competitor. As soon as you get on the field, you have just as much chance of winning than the next guy that's been doing it full life. So
we make it even
bad day, and you might be really great at shooting groups, and that's all you're good at. But the wind just catches it the right way, and you're shooting tiny groups all day, and you walk away with the prize. So
well, that's John. One target you're shooting into the wind, the third target you're shooting downwind. Right, and everything in the middle is you're shooting across. So actually, we make it even easier, Reg. We have loaner rifles. So last week, the person that came in second in production was shooting Tika T1X with a Strike Eagle on it. So
Nice.
we have the dope charts for it. We have the ammo that's calibrated for it. We have a mentor that'll walk you through. So if you have any interest in trying out a match, send us an email, sign up for it. We'll put you in what's called stealth class, which is kind of, there's no pressure. You'll just shoot the match. You've got a mentor that's walking you through all the stages and giving you advice. And you've got a rifle that's already been proven. Kevin did all the proving on it, and you're good to go. And it's a great way to get started. And you can just keep borrowing a rifle for the rest of the season if you want. There's nothing stops you. And then you could even try different optics out, because you can start with a Diamondback. You can go to the Strike Eagle. You can try the PST2. And if you're really nice, I'll lend you my Razor. So you can try the whole range. And along with that, we've got all of the spotting scopes and the binos from Vortex so you can try out the full Vortex product line. So we lend bags, so there's nothing you need other than the willingness to try and fail and have a good time. So I encourage you guys, don't, sitting at home is not going to get you closer to the stage. You'll never be ready until you sign up for your first match. Then it's either a slippery slope or you're going to want to start spending money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, it is. It is. Well, we did that poll in the beginning, John. You remember that? What was the average amount someone spent in the first year of getting into competition? The amounts were staggering.
What kind of numbers?
I don't think I did the one on spending.
Oh, we did a poll. We did a poll.
I think you did.
On the Facebook.
Yeah, we did a poll. It was like the average was $1,500 to $2,000, and then 25% of the responders were over $4,000. Right.
Don't scare anybody away now.
Well, no, you don't have to. You don't. I keep saying, if you wanna have a good time, get a CZ457 or Tika T1X and put a good Vortex scope, either Strike Eagle or Diamondback Tactical, and you're good. As long as you get the dope, you can be competitive.
We have a user in the comments here that's commenting easy on the price talk because the wife's in the room. So
sorry, it's everything that people buy. It's always on sale. Sometimes they win it.
Yeah.
Because CRPS gives away 10 rifles per event.
And the key thing is, when you're talking price with your spouse, whether you're the female doing the shooting or you're the male doing the shooting, is always tell them that with the Vortex warranty, look, sweetheart, it's like, if I spend this amount, I never have to spend it again unless I don't lose it. It's under warranty. I can get it replaced. It's good. So you know what? We might as well spend the extra couple $100 and upgrade, and that's how it rolls.
Exactly. The best deals in town is buying used Vortex optics. That's the best deal in town. They also
retain their value well. Their resale value is always really good. Yeah.
They're awesome. It's like, screw Bitcoin. I'm just going to buy Vortex optics on the gun nuts.
We're going to get a whack of calls on this Monday, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm starting tomorrow.
You got any used stuff? What do you have for used? Rick says that.
It's ringing right now. I can hear it.
I bought all the good used stuff already. So it's good. It's good. It's been educational, certainly. And the support from you guys has been tremendous. And you guys keep putting new stuff out all the time. I mean, Ken sent me a list of all the stuff that you guys are coming out, and I think, Matt, you've got the new Radian carbon tripod there that we had out
and
for
the
folks
Fury,
to try out at the match.
the Fury binos I have too. Yeah.
Those are nice binos, man.
They're sweet.
They're probably the nicest binos I've put my eyes to.
The cool thing is with the binos too, guys. Sorry to interrupt, Rick, but those binos, the new Furies, like they pair up with, like, there's a Garmin 701, so you can have all your data if you're really in, if you're a gadget whore kind of thing, and you got to have all the neatest and coolest stuff. But those Fury ABs, they marry up to your phone with an app. Peter's got a Kestrel there, and that's with Link in it, wasn't it? Does that have Link with it, Pete?
Yep, this one does. Yeah.
So you got
the Elite with Link. Yeah.
With Link, and then of course, I'm really impressed with this little 5700. I'm not kind of a gadget kind of guy for the electronics, but I've been playing with this for I don't know, probably close to a month in relation with the Fury AB with Applied Ballistics, and I look at my hard data that I have for my dope on rifles that are proven out to a certain distance, and the Fury and this work really nice together. Again, it's a gadget that runs on batteries, but for be able to have it on your wrist and be able to look and just pull up all your dope quickly, and you can assign targets to target 1 to whatever it is, and it's really handy. So we're definitely dipping our toe in the water on the electronic side of things a little bit more, because that's just the way things are. We gotta kind of go with the flow. But if you're not into that, I'm still a firm believer of simplicity. You don't need to get into the high tech stuff. All you need to do is get the rifle in the right direction, get the right dope on it, play the wind correct, do your part behind the rifle, and you're going to have success. And that's that. Again, we keep going back to that Diamondback Tactical, because I don't know who said it earlier, whether it was Daryl or Peter who said it, but it can do everything the average shooter getting out there to do it, it'll get it done. And you're not spending the mortgage money. I think that's the biggest thing here is, this is for shits and giggles. We're not trying to, we're not doing this for real life by any means, for a job. We're here to punch targets, paper, steel, whatever you're doing. But you want to be successful. So to do that, you do need to have the proper gear. And even though you are launching small, cheap little cartridges and projectiles downrange, it still costs you money to participate. So you might as well spend your money properly in the right areas, such as optics and rings and mounting system and whatnot, and get yourself on the right foot. So,
I'd like to back up just a wee bit, talking about the money thing. And I'll preface, I have Vortex. I'm not a huge Vortex fanboy. I'm a practical guy. And
hang up on him now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think of things very logically. And so when somebody comes to me and says, what optics should I buy to start out? I almost always recommend a Vortex because of resale value. A person can buy a Vortex, shoot it for 1 or 2 years, say it's not for me, and he's not going to be out a lot of money. There's a lot of scopes you can buy. The second you buy it, you've lost a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And that's not a risk that you should take when you're starting out.
No, and I can comment on that. I believe one of the reasons that our scopes, there's several reasons that they do, but that they maintain their value on the secondary market is because one of the concerns when you're buying anything used is what's wrong with it. But what happened to it? Why is this person selling it?
Exactly.
I mean, it goes from cars to pretty much anything used. When it comes to Vortex, I mean, everybody knows about the warranty, or they should know about the warranty. And I believe that's what really helps to retain the value, because as John was saying, if you find that you purchase a scope and you get into the wrong one, you can sell it on a secondary market and it retains that value, because if people are willing to buy it because they know if there's anything wrong with it, they can just give somebody like myself a call or anybody from the service team here at the office in Guelph. And if they have absolutely anything wrong, if they're missing a turret cap, if they're missing lens covers, for the lifetime of the warranty, which is a lifetime unconditional warranty, it's transferable. You don't need to hand over your receipts. You don't need to do any of that. Simply, if you need anything, give us a call and we'll see what we can do to help you out. And I think that's really awesome. What it comes down to with regards to helping keep and maintaining the secondary value, as well as secondhand value, as well as the quality of the optics. So if you can find one out there on a discount, I would say pick it up 100% of the time.
Yeah, well, you guys have done that, because I mean that's proven out by the resale value. So that's awesome, phenomenal. And the challenge for us now, because we're just going to shift gears. The X22 Challenge Series, our inaugural match is coming up April 3rd at East Elgin. It's sold out, and that is shifting gears from the long range PRS to kind of like a Top Shot Canada rimfire. This is a multidiscipline event where you've got 2 long range, which is out to 100 to 300, 2 medium range from 25 to 100. Then you've got Steel Challenge, which is from 10 to 25 meters. Then you've got Silhouette, which is standing at 40, 60, 77, or 100 meters. And then you've got scored paper targets. From there, so you can see that now I'm shooting 300 meters and I've got 10 to 25 meters distances, right? So what scope should I buy, guys?
Do I have to run this match with only one rifle?
Yes, and I'm saying it kind of like jokingly, but what guys are trying out. So there's two schools of thought. They're running, and I know a lot of these guys have already got that secondary tube-mounted pick rail that they've got a 45 red dot mounted on,
Yeah.
or a scope cap 45-degree mount, or they're going to just try and wing the short range using lowest power optics. So like a 2.5 to 10 would almost do it, or a 1 to 12 or a 3 to 18, something in that 1.5 to 3x range on the low end would be. It's probably what most people are going to try, but a red dot's always going to be faster. But I think most people are just going to try and survive the close range, and then just enjoy the rest of the day without that. So I'm sort of kidding, but if I think you guys had some 1 to 12s out there, don't you?
Well, we have the Razor Gen 3 is a 1 to 10.
Oh, hey, I need one of those.
With a 24 mil objective on it, so I would recommend something like that.
What's the reticle on that? It's kind of like, is that like a?
It's an EBR9 BDC for the MOA version, and MRAD it's an EBR9 as well.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, if you want to see images of those, you can visit our website that I saw going up there. You can click on it, and it will give you a very detailed explanation of that reticle.
And if you have that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Rick, where's the bulk of the points to be had at in a match like that, or do they spread it out equally?
Yes, unfortunately, it's even Steven. So it's kind of like 20% per discipline. So you'll throw away. You don't have to win that. Stages have to be the same as everybody else. So if everyone is roughly doing the same thing, you'll perform. Maybe 4 to 10 guys will be running red dots, and we'll kind of clean up. But as long as you're in the pack, if you suck at everything else, you're not going to do well anyway. So
yeah.
So my strategy is to do really well everywhere else, and just suffer through the Steel Challenge stages, or rimfire. Sorry, I should branding rimfire race gun stages.
Mm-hmm. So a match like that, I think Daryl came very close to having the perfect option. The only reason why it wouldn't be is price point. It's a Razor Gen 3. It's a very expensive optic.
Yes.
It retails for like $3,000.
Yeah.
So we're talking about trying to keep costs down to make it accessible for people. So I'm sure there's going to be someone eventually show up with an optic like that for sure. But another option in the PST line is the 2 to 10 by 32. It's also a first focal plane. It runs an EBR4 reticle in either MOA or MRAD, and it prices out just a little bit above the Strike Eagle at $1,250. So it gets a lot of the functionality of that Razor 1 to 10, but at a much more accessible price point. So you can go right down to 2 power for your close range stuff. Illumination, your reticle is going to be small at 2 power, so you crank on the illumination so you can see your reticle, and then you can pound away at the back shots. When you need the longer shots, you dial up and away you go. Right.
That's not too bad.
Yeah,
that could work.
Yeah, a lot of guys that play the service rifle game use that scope. That's kind of what that scope was designed for. Was kind of DMR style shooting. For the game that you're talking about there, it would work very well. So
yeah, that would work. 10 mils on the reticle.
Yep.
That'll work, right, guys? 2 power.
What I'm waiting for is dual reticle, so we can go down to 1 power and then have like an illuminated halo. But I wouldn't want that halo when I'm up at 10 power to grow too big and obtrusive.
See, this is where we were talking earlier about first and second focal plane, right? You run a second focal plane, and you're shooting these really short distance. You drop her down low as you possibly go, like on a two power. you can just do your holds. If you know exactly what your holds need to be for those distances, you're starting to work off reticles and using that kind of stuff. So it's all about flexibility of the reticle style as well.
And that's why I want the dual.
Everybody wants something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has
but not everybody's willing to pay for it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want it under $700.
Yeah.
You want a prize with that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But you know,
it's
for the most part, I think now you guys can tell me better than I could probably look at it, but I bought enough rifles in my day to kind of eyeball it up and say, you know, if I was to buy a Diamondback Tactical or something similar to that, I think you could easily get yourself into a rifle that's competitive, maybe $1,200 to $1,500. Is that, or are we thinking $1,000? Is that doable?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for a rifle like CZ457 synthetic is like around $500. Tika T1X is around 6 or 7. So those are competitive. They can do very well, right? If you've got the right dope and the right optics, you know, you can spend a little more. I mean, but you know, race ready rifle would be probably in the 1400. So the Bragara B14Rs or any of the new CZ competitive models. Again, there's probably a whole host I'm not forgetting. I'm kind of CZ biased because that's what I shoot.
So when you called this match an X22, I immediately thought, okay, it's going to be short range race gun. So I'm thinking semi-automatic accurized 1022s. Is that going to be a factor at a match like this? Do you think? Or?
Well, it is 1022 based. Okay. So I'll just go quickly through it. So there's the stock division, which is Ruger 1022 as it came from the factory, regardless of how much you paid for it. So you could get the new 1022 custom shop competition model, like retailing for $1,200, or you can get the regular 1022 carbine for $327. Those are all stock. If you change any part of that, you're going to go into open. If you have an aftermarket 1022 pattern rifle, those are unlimited. So the Bragara BXRs, the Taxol Vantages, the Delask arms, those are all unlimiteds. And then everybody else that doesn't fall into one of those 3 prior categories is outlaw. So you can run whatever you want as long as it's a 22 LR. Single shot Kuis, Savage Rascals, on shoots match rifles, whatever, or anything you want goes into outlaw.
Steven's favorite.
There you go. So anything you want to play, there's a spot for you. And then we picked the 1022 because it's probably the most aftermarket supported, semi-auto platform. So speed is the key. So we want to get away from the PRS style race guns because you're gonna have to shoot 2 stages standing against teeny tiny small bore silhouette steel, right? So bring your 20-pound perfectly balanced MDT ACC chassis, whatever.
Yeah, I like your idea. I'm going to run the Savage Rascal with a Gen 2 Razor 4.5 to 27 on that puppy.
That would be awesome. I paid money to watch that, Reg.
Me too. I'd probably even wear like a pink tutu or something like that to go along with it.
Don't laugh. That length of pull is perfect for me.
Perfect. There you go.
I'm trying not to laugh.
You're doing a great job, John.
Well, we could even make it pink. I think Savage makes it pink. So there you go.
They do. We have one of every color. So Savage is a sponsor Project Maple Seed. So they donated several Savage Rascals in all the colors for our youth shooters. And also I want to thank Vortex Canada for sponsoring Project Maple Seed this year as well. So for those that don't know, we have a new long range Maple Seed, or it's called known distance, which is going to be taught at actual distances. So for those that don't know, Project Maple Seed typically instructs at 25 meter distances, but we scale the targets to simulate 100, 200, 300, and 400 meter target sizes, which is human torso size targets. This year, we are launching the known distance events, which is shot at actual distance, 100, 200, 300, and 400 meters using full size torso. So before we focus on fundamentals, now we focus on fundamentals, but add trajectory, wind, and range estimation and gathering dope. So that's thanks to you guys. You guys are outfitting all of our loaner and our trainer rifles with some fabulous optics, rangefinders, spotting scopes, and binos. So we have no excuses now.
Yeah.
So thank you very much on behalf of Project Maple Seed. I put my Project Maple Seed hat on there for a second while you were here. So more, stay tuned, subscribe, mapleseedrifleman.com for news about that. Our first event is going to be in Virden, Manitoba, just behind Wolverine Supplies, who is also
John.
sponsoring. Yeah, who's also sponsoring with their WSMCR rifles as our Maple Seed known distance official rifle since we lost our ARs. So that's it. So anyway, getting back, so I know you guys have some products that you came out this year. The Fury AB binos were probably, was that the new like what are some of the other products that you guys came out this year?
Well,
Sorry, go ahead. Whoever's
no,
there.
by all means.
A couple of the new products. We have a couple of new prismatic scopes, which are kind of exciting. So they're the Spitfire 3X and 5X that Reg is holding up there for us. He's doing his Vanna White impression. So what a prismatic scope is, it looks very much like a red dot, but it's actually more closely related to all the other optics that we've been talking about here all evening. So they're actually a fixed magnification scope with an etched reticle in them. So some of the advantages are, some people that have astigmatism in their eye, they can't use a red dot. They see the red dot as either a banana or a crescent moon or multiple dots. We call it a grape cluster or a starburst. And they can't use the red dot just because of that medical condition, that astigmatism. Nothing wrong with the optic, nothing wrong with their eye. They just don't work together. So those people, we switch them over to a prismatic scope. So, but just so everybody knows, there's also one minor disadvantage to a prismatic scope, and that is it does have a very definite eye relief position that needs to be respected, just like any other magnified optic. So it can't be used like on a pistol. It's not like infinite eye relief where you can have it out on a pistol or whatever. It has to be in a certain spot for you to be able to use it. The reticles in them are calibrated for the 556/308 kind of trajectory, and they have range holdovers out to I don't have the specs in front of me right now, but it's like 500 or 600 yards. Very, very nice reticles. The help me out, Daryl, what is it, the AR BDC 3, I believe is what the reticle is called.
Very close. AR BDC 4.
4, there you go. Yeah, so,
there's like this much of a difference.
yeah, and illuminated as well.
Yes.
So fantastic optics. So that's the prismatic scope. Then of course the Fury ABs that we've been talking about. Just so everyone is aware, all of our training videos and stuff that we got from Vortex USA, the most technical product that we've ever offered. There's a lot going on in those ABs. So there's an app for your phone. You download the app. You compare it with your AB. You can build your ballistic profiles on your phone. I think the app will store up to 100 different ballistic profiles. The Fury itself will store 3 different ballistic profiles, so you can change them out. But basically, once you have the ballistic profile pushed to the AB, it can work as a standalone unit. You don't have to have any secondary device like a phone or a Kestrel or anything like that. It can work on its own. It can give you wind solutions as well. So very, very technical product. It's a 10 by 42 binocular with a 5,000 yard rangefinder built in. Price point on it is going to retail around $2,200. So
are they in stores? Are they in stores already, Pete?
They're slowly getting out. Yeah, shipment was delayed on that one, so there's a few hundred units that have made it out. But I don't think that we're fully flushed on them yet. But yeah. Other new products, the full line of tripods. So as you were saying, Matt's running one of the Radians already. So this is a heavy duty tripod available with 2 different heads. So we have a leveling head and a ball head. Minimum carrying capacity is 44 pounds. Maximum is 44 pounds on the leveling head and 55 pounds on the ball head. Arca Swiss plates. So if you have Arca Swiss on your gun, you can mount your gun on the tripod. It also comes with a QR plate for mounting up standard optics like spotting scopes or binoculars. So yeah.
I noticed the new Vipers have the Arca plate already in there. Is that new? Or they always had the option?
The Diamondback I know has the Arca.
Okay.
Is it?
One of
Does
them.
the Viper have it as well, Daryl?
I think it's just coming currently with the Diamondback. I do think there.
Okay, maybe the
I would have
Diamondback.
to double check that, to be very honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
Diamondback
That's cool.
does.
Yeah.
And I think they're planning on making that a running change, but don't quote me on that. But it does
Yeah,
make
that,
sense.
that makes sense because everyone's running Arca
Yeah.
Arca tripods now, Arca heads.
Yeah.
So that, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the
And
beautiful
then,
thing about that tripod is it's like it looks like it looks like a cherry picker. You pull a motor out of an old big block Chevy, but it's extremely lightweight. It's carbon fiber. Like I said, it'll hold up to a maximum of 55 pounds depending on the head you have. But the other cool thing is twofolds. Number one, the heads will interchange almost instantly. It's just a little flip lever and then a push button. The head pops out. You can swap in the other head just as quickly. And then the legs will go out flat. You can lay down and shoot prone with your rifle on the tripod, for maximum stability.
Yeah.
Or you can throw your spotting scope in there and have it laying right next to you, when you're laying there in a prone position. So it's a very versatile tripod.
It's gonna be the ticket for Sniper Series. Sniper spotter matches. I think that's gonna end up in a lot of people's wish lists. Yeah, what's nice also with the legs deploy pretty quick. It's almost like a 1/8 twist and it's out. As opposed to others where you got to keep cranking and cranking and cranking on it. So it's really well thought out. So I was pretty happy.
And then there's a series of lighter tripods as well. There's a couple more carbon fiber ones and then aluminum ones. So the nice thing is all of the tripods use the same Arca Swiss QR plate, so you can kind of interchange between them, and they're just a fantastic. I'm really impressed with what they did. They added a lot of key features that we were missing in the past in our tripod.
Yeah, so. I mean, a lot of people, their initial impression, if they have never tried it, they say, "Oh, it's just like all the others." I think the key is you've got to try it out side by side with whatever you're comparing it to, and then really understand the differences you're paying for, because. Again, being a photographer, videographer, I've handled many tripods. I probably have 8 in my basement, and there is a difference in feel and speed, as well as stability. So you gotta really try it. At first glance, it's not going to be apparent.
Yeah, I'm a lot like John in that I don't like tripods and shooting off of them, but I've been playing with these with this Radiant for the past couple of weeks and just doing some dry fire with my center fire match rifle. And like I've got a dry fire target down in my backyard and make it really small because it's only about 90 yards away. And I'm amazed at how steady I can hold on it from a full standing position, legs almost completely deployed. Like I'm 5'9" and it'll extend to a height that's unusable for me. It'll extend too high for me. So I have to keep the legs a little bit shorter. But I'm amazed at how steady it is.
It's also speed, because as an example on that attack on Hoth stage with the droids where you're almost panning 180 degrees. So a lot of people shot that prone, but if you had that tripod, that rifle mounted on the tripod, you would probably pick up 2 to 3 seconds per engagement just based on the traversing of it. You're already stable. You're ready to go. Press the trigger, transition to the next target. I mean, it's as opposed to picking up, setting your bipod, getting that bag under, so there's a time and place, and it's not only just standing up. It's, why wouldn't you, if you had a lot of targets to engage and you had to traverse almost 180, I think it makes sense to try it out.
I do a lot of coyote hunting in the wintertime, and I use, another brand tripod with like a hog saddle to clamp my rifle while I'm, working hand calls or working the remote from my e-collar or whatever. I ordered one of the new MDT hunting chassis with the molded in Arca rail for my coyote rifle, and that's going to be my new setup. It's going to go right on that Radiant, and I'll paint it white. I'll be like a stormtrooper or whatever. But
nice.
It's going to look good. So,
did you get that new carbon fiber chassis from MDT?
Yeah, I haven't got it yet. It's on order, so
that thing is sweet.
It'll be interesting to see. It's pretty lightweight, 26 ounces. Now I had the folding option added on, so I think I added a few ounces. But if there's an option, you got to click it, right? So,
that's very cool.
Yeah. And then another new product that Vortex has got, and I almost forgot about it, and it's probably the one that I'm the most excited about, is the Spark Solar. So we're talking about a little red dot here that has a little solar panel on the top, so it's solar energized,
Nice.
not recharging. It still has a I believe it's a 2032 battery, and where Reg is pointing out there's a little solar panel there. So it's got this auto detect technology. So whether you're on if you start out on battery power, when you transition to an environment that provides enough light to energize the solar panel, it'll automatically and seamlessly switch over to solar energy to save your battery power. And they're saying up to 150,000 hours of battery life when combined with solar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It comes with a multi-height mount, very similar to our Crossfire red dot. So you can mount it on a tactical shotgun or a pistol, a hunting rifle. You can mount it up high on your Maple Seed rifles there. The are they the WK-180s or no, not that one. Sorry.
The MCRs.
Thank you.
Yeah, MCR.
Yeah.
So you can mount it on that, AR style, co-witnessing height. And the best part is price point. It's under $400. So, it's a great little optic. So
yeah, we've got a bunch of those going out across Canada for the prize packs for the Outlaw Rimfire series.
Yeah,
so,
it would work well for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
race guns.
the Huey holographic sight that we've had for a couple of years, we've offered up a new SureFit neoprene cover for that. That's been missing from the lineup for a little while because that's a really nice high-end optic, and now we have a nice neoprene cover for it as well. So
yeah.
I think that rounds out all the new products for 21.
That's awesome. It's a huge year. It's a huge year.
Yeah.
And we're excited to be able to bring some of those products to our participants this year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thank you guys so much for your time and all the support that Vortex Canada. I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, yeah, I think the shooters across Canada just are just so thankful and grateful for the support you're putting into all the events. You guys are making it happen, and it makes them feel loved, which is great. And again, the stats are showing that people are loving the products, and not just for the resale value, because they also work in competition.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know what? I think I speak for everybody at Vortex. I hope I don't overstep my bounds here, but the unprecedented thing that's going on here, Rick, is your efforts. Through Maple Seed and all of your match efforts, you're bringing the sport at a grassroots level right across the country to so many people, and it's easy for a company like Vortex to get behind that. You know what I mean? So you've gathered a great group of people, and you're putting on great events, whether it's Maple Seed or Rimfire Precision, the new Outlaw series. I can't even begin to list everything that you're doing, but it makes it easy for us to get behind. So we thank you. That's to support the shooting, to support the shooting events the way that you do. It's amazing. So thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was just hoping to find guys I could beat, but look at these guys. I keep getting beat by everyone I hang out with, so I need to find a lousier set of shooters to hang out with, apparently.
Well, I'll get Reg to show up eventually.
Well,
I was waiting always for a tab there.
Anything else, guys? I think we're at an hour and 42. This is like our average duration. When we first started, we said 30 minutes, 45 minutes max. But I mean, the topics and the guests just have so much to offer, and I think for those that hang in there, there's little gems sprinkled all along the way. And I thank you guys for helping us kind of decode the MIL versus MOA and the second versus first focal, and the stepping up from the Diamondback Tactical, which is a competent optic, to the next levels if people have more budget. Any shout outs or John?
I would like
sorry to interrupt, John. I just wanted to put a real quick plug in there. Sorry, John. There's a bit of a delay. That I think when those that are new to your sport, like coming into whatever shooting discipline they're getting into, one thing that we pride ourselves on is that we feel like we have a SKU that will fit everyone's budget. There's a place for you somewhere in the Vortex family. We'll make a place for you. And the thing is, like you said, come out to those events that you guys are doing, and there's an opportunity there. You might go home with a prize, and you might come home. You might start out with a Diamondback Tactical, and you very well might come home with a Strike Eagle. So we're very proud of our lineup, and I know, like for us that are working at the office and in the field, such as Peter and our other sales reps, is that our SKUs are growing by leaps and bounds every year. And even us that work in all the SKUs, we sometimes have to refer back to our books because there's so many. But that's where I'm getting at is like there's something there we can help you with. And if you're not sure, give our office a call. Chances are the first person you're going to run into, you'll be speaking with Daryl, or he'll pass you on to meet myself. But we'll take care of you. We'll steer you in the right direction. And it's not about, we're not salesmen. We're here to make sure that you get the right product and that you can get out there and do your thing.
Yep. And if anybody wants to see any of those common optics or most popular optics, we have one of every model available. So from Diamondback, Strike Eagle, PST, and Razor, we have them available for you to compare to what you're shooting now, or see if you can tell the difference between the various ranges. So that's probably the best way. And if you have time, you can take it to the sight-in line and shoot a couple of rounds through just to get a real world feel, as opposed to sitting in the brightly lit showrooms or gun stores and looking at the wall 20 yards away. So sorry, somebody was going to say something.
I was just going to say, to piggyback off of Reg's comments, if you have any questions, cares, or concerns at all, don't hesitate. If you just want to talk shop, give us a call at the office. There's always somebody here willing to chat and answer any questions that you may have. So thank you all for your support.
Yeah.
I think we interrupted John. I know I did. Sorry for that, John.
Yeah.
No, that's all good. No, I was just going to comment on how you've stepped up and sponsored the CRPS series. Some manufacturers look at 22 as nothing, and I personally see 22 long rifle as the future of the shooting sports. It's something that every tradesperson can shoot. They can afford to, right? We can afford to participate in multiple matches in a year. So I think it's exciting to see a manufacturer of your size that's you see the light, you see there's future here, and you step behind it. And I really do appreciate that, even if I'm not a fanboy, right? But no, not yet. Being the practical person I am, I see the workings here. Things are happening, and it's obvious that you guys are watching the industry.
It's all about world domination, brother. That's what it is.
I like it.
Well, a big shout out to the owners of Vortex, not only in Vortex USA, but especially for the owner of Vortex Canada, Paul, Grant, and Val. Wyatt. They're very instrumental and key to the success, obviously, of the company, but they see the bigger picture. We think of each other as we're a family at Vortex. We really truly are. Believe it or not, Peter and I, we actually do like each other, and we do hang out. Well, just a little. That's right, Pete. Little depends on what day you catch us, but no, it's because I think it is. We have that camaraderie and that family kind of niche that holds us together. I think that's where it comes from. That Val and Paul and our general manager, Ken, they truly care. And being part of such an organization, everyone who works for Vortex Canada says the same thing. Especially when we have a new hire that comes on, it's like, man, I just feel like I came on at the perfect time. But in reality, no matter what time you come on with Vortex Canada, it's always such a perfect time. It's just. And I think that, the key people that make Vortex successful is that we care. We really, truly care. So when Daryl says, call us, we'll take time out to answer your questions. There is no such thing as a stupid question. If you really are passionate and you feel like this question needs to be answered and you can't get the answers, just go to the horse's mouth and we'll put you in the right position. If we don't know the answers, we'll get those answers for you. But, we want you to feel comfortable that we do care about, and we want you to be successful. This is the whole thing.
That's awesome. Well, we certainly feel the support, which is great.
The thing is too, like the majority of us are shooters as well. So when you're talking to us, we can visualize what you're going through, maybe some of your concerns, and we understand those. So
That's great.
Well, Daryl and I are shooters.
Reg
Yeah.
pretends.
So much love. So much
Dude, I
love.
know you,
That's awesome.
you feel that. I can feel, I can feel the spoon being turned in my back all the time.
There you go. It sounds like our squad. There's so much trash talking when we shoot. It's 50% of the fun. The other 50% is
Yeah.
We all love each other, but we also love to trash talk each other too.
oh man, that's the best part. Even if you're not on the squad, we still trash talk everybody.
yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So as a reminder, April 3rd is the X22 Challenge, the inaugural match at East Elgin. We still need volunteers. Some of these stages need scorers, so we have paper targets that need scoring, as well as timers to time the race gun event, the rimfire race gun event, fast steel. So we need volunteers. We've got a bunch from East Elgin members that have already stepped up, but we could use a few more. So if you are interested, email us at info@rimfireprecision.ca or reach out to me on Facebook, Rick Antonio on the Facebook page for OPSEC reasons.
I bet you that Reg fellow will volunteer.
There you go. That'd be perfect. And actually, you guys should shoot, man. You guys should shoot. It's gonna be fun.
You know what? That's a good idea. It wouldn't hurt me to get up and we actually go shoot one of these matches there, Pete. It's been a while.
It'd be a blast. We've got some amazing loaner rifles with some very nice optics. It's gonna be
Beautiful.
It's gonna be fun. I'll even front you the ammo, guys.
How far are you from
No excuses.
Palmerston? I got steel out there. We can drop data for you within the hour. No excuses.
Right on. Excellent.
Hey, John, maybe you're missing the point. We need excuses.
I don't understand.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's April 3rd.
Well, just to touch base on that, Rick and John, that due to COVID and whatnot, we've had lots of discussion within just back and forth and bouncing it off office staff. Is we're going to try it because we do support you guys so much, and we're really proud to do it, and incredibly happy with the efforts that you guys have. But I think in the future here, depending on the restrictions on COVID, going to start to try to make an effort to have someone show up at local events. Now, we can't be at everything, but
for sure,
just to have a Vortex face there, and whether it's myself, Daryl, or whoever, or Pete, whoever would want to go. But it's kind of become my mission, because I totally agree 100% with you, John, that I was talking to Paul, a few years back when, especially Rick, when you were really getting this up and starting to get some traction, and it's like, this is where it's at. The political atmosphere that we're in here in Canada right now, with the whole gun chaos, is we need to have something that everyone can participate in, and this truly is a family event. Because I remember when Peter and I attended, what was it, back at PET? We did the PET shoot there.
Yep.
And what I was looking at when I was standing back from the line is, it was great to see a family of 4 or whatever would come out, and they would just be, a Savage Mark II, and they would have maybe a crossfire on it, but they were getting it done. And they would go up, shoot, and then they pass the rifle off to the next in line and their family member. But they were they were like beavers chewing on plywood, right? You just couldn't wipe the smile off them. They were so happy. Yeah. And truly, I think we all can agree that's what it's really about. Getting out there and doing that. And when you guys see those faces, especially for young shooters, they truly are the future, and they are going to be continuing the success of the shooting sports. Yeah. So and we need. It's not we like to do it. We need to do it. We have to be a part of that.
They are the future. All the youth shooters shoot free at all our events as well. So that's our commitment to getting those people out there. So there's no excuse unless mom or dad wants a break from the kid. I get that too, but pot it off to a good friend. As long as someone is monitoring them, they're good to shoot. So it's a great way to get them out. And if they don't have ammo or equipment, we can take care of all that as well. So there's no reason not to bring them out. So
are you you're pretty easy on offering up ammo? Are you offering ammo for centerfire for me too? And
no, only if you can fit it at 22 LR in there. If you pack enough in there. Yeah. So we have Ely's our sponsor, a national title sponsor, and they're more than generous in supporting the cause, just like you guys are. So we have everything we need to get folks out there. We even have volunteers that will mentor new shooters. So there's really no reason not to come out and try it out. You literally have nothing to lose. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's it. So my shout out goes to Vortex Canada. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and all of your support. I look forward to seeing you guys on the firing line this year at some event or even behind the firing line. We'd love to have you there. Any shout outs, Matt?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna echo you guys as well. The support is awesome. The swag packs you give for the prizes is just, you know, it's kind of like the cherry on top. You shoot a nice match and you get a free prize afterwards. It's like, oh, it gets better than that. It's Vortex swag. It's awesome. Yeah, and my wardrobe is growing with Vortex clothing just slowly because of these prize draws. So yeah, it's pretty sweet for sure. So just thank you for the support.
Daryl, any shout outs?
Yeah, shout out to everybody at Vortex Canada, all the way down the service team, everybody that makes the magic happen, and to all our supporters out there, Rick, Matt, John, Kevin. Thanks for everything you guys do. Echoing what Reg and Peter had said, it's very exciting, and you're bringing it to the forefront. So thank you to all of you.
Pete, any concluders?
Well, like I said before, Rick, thank you to you and your entire team. You know, and I know the team extends well beyond the people that we see here tonight. You know, I can think of a few of them, but I don't know all of them. So thank you to you guys, and I also want to put a shout out there just to, you know, new shooters. You know, come on out and give this a try. That, like we just said a minute ago, Rick is making it hard to have an excuse. You know, so come on out and give it a try and have some fun. You know.
Yeah. Indeed. You'll get hooked for sure.
Absolutely.
Kevin, how about you, brother?
Definitely thanks for coming out here, guys. And then maybe one quick food for thought. I hope it doesn't take too long. But I posted a question in the comments here. Binoculars with a reticle. I don't know if you guys ever thought of putting one out, but if you did, I think you're going to get a huge market share on that. So binoculars with the reticle in it. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining us.
And under $700. Just kidding. Thanks, Kevin. John G.
If they're really, really good, it doesn't even have to be under $700.
There you
I
go.
agree.
There you
I
go.
agree.
There's
Full
John.
heart, right?
Yeah. I'm just kidding about the price points, guys.
I know, Rick.
I know.
Yeah, I think my shout out went to Vortex for the support they have shown for the series.
That's cool. All right, Reg. How about
I just want to say the same as the other boys. You know, thanks, Rick, and thanks for you guys. And like Pete said, there's a lot of people that are not here on this podcast that deserve a pat. You know, an auto. You know, way to go, and a pat in the back, and that a boy type thing. You know, Pete and I have participated in a few matches over the years, and we have a pretty good idea of the amount of effort that goes into some of this stuff. And I can't imagine the amount of time that goes in that Rick and John and Kevin and you guys have all put into putting these matches on and continuous. You know, you're taking time away from family time and whatnot. So thank you so much for doing that. You know, and it takes a very special person to give up a lot of time, their own private time, for others, so others can succeed and enjoy a pastime. So thanks again, guys. It's much appreciated, and we're very proud. I think I can speak for everyone here at Vortex Canada that we're extremely proud of the work that you all are doing, and just keep her up, keep her going strong, and keep fighting a good fight on and try to get those people out there and get them involved in it.
Yeah, I just need people I can beat. I still haven't found many people, so I'm just gonna keep looking. All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Good night.